my topic, besides dancing, keep yourself agile and moving, okay? A prosperity secret is to be happy with what you have, to appreciate what you have. And even if it was the worst situation you could have ever imagined, when you call worse and bad, if you find something that you can use that is beneficial to you, then appreciate that. But that does not mean you have to set up to have miserable experiences so you can learn from them. You don't need to learn anything other than, are you a thinker or a knower? Knowers are in the realm of the mystics and the divine, beyond all the religions, going straight to the center, and yet they're in all of, you find them everywhere, with or without religion. But what we also find in the ancient and great teachings of, and that's why I like the Vedas, because I like to research. I've researched spiritual sleuth, a researcher, and that's what I offer is, of all the years of my study and application and my research now, which I think is the most important that I've ever done, and because it's really about who we are and what's happening now, and the real reclaiming of ourselves and all of our divine powers and abilities now, and this is what's happening. But a prosperity secret is to really appreciate it all. I mean, truly, I realized I had such a wonderful childhood, and I remember at different times I found fault with this or that, and it was like blaming my mother for something or that, like she should have done. And it was like, what? When you learn later, you go, what are you talking about? Some people have been really abused in some way or another. Well, who knows what that is and how that got set up. It's somehow, somewhere. But it's like to realize that's really not you. It never really happened to you as a living entity, because you're indestructible. The Vedas say you're brighter than 10,000 suns, real suns, not fake, phony suns, real suns. And you're smaller than the 10,000 of us can fit on the end of a piece of hair. That's it. And yet we're mighty because of who we are and what we're part of. I just got caught for a moment because the light is dancing on the water, and it was like, whoa, there's all these sparklies. Anyway, the prosperity secret then is that appreciation, and what happens is people depower themselves by decrying and crying all about their miserable condition. This isn't good enough, I don't like that, fault finding, hating themselves. Now you realize as you're doing that, you're the one who's suffering because you're emotionalizing it. That's why you want to stay as a witness and stay centered in the silence, the knowingness of the power of the moment of you, instead of reacting to everyone and everything, to the news, to this, to that. Did you hear? This is this. Oh, exciting. Oh, depressing. Blah, blah. Because you're being sucked of your emotion. That is the fuel of the mind virus that lives off of your suffering to keep you controlled in the mind, as if there's a solution to your suffering that's going to be out here, and we're going to find that answer out here. But in the mind, every question has an answer, and every answer is the next question. That means the problems of today were the solutions of yesterday in that way. You find the real solution is when you know who you are and the powers that you have, and you no longer feed or fuel that beast of the AI or the IT, the intelligence technology as who you are. You're beyond all of that. You're far more greater, powerful. There is no AI stronger or even compared to you and all of your capabilities and all that you have. And so that's to activate those now. And you do that by knowing that and start being appreciative of where you are, because you're never anywhere. You're always here. You think you've gone all these places. No, it's only you being. And what I've noticed, and everywhere I've traveled all over the world, and every different lifestyle that I've lived, in the sense of, sometimes, it'd be 5 stars hotel, sometimes maybe a backpacker's hostel place that you stay a couple days, or a tent, or a mansion or a castle. That's the environment. And I've been miserable in the best place, most famous, exotic, wealthy place in the world, and happy in having the least amount at all at any time, and vice versa. Because it's always about you and your. So instead of finding fault and complaining, you're not this. As I told you, the greatest teacher I ever knew was Maestro David Kyle. My voice teacher taught me opera, and to really, my voice is, because the body's a musical instrument. And he only used positive affirmation, positive reinforcement. And he would teach me the skills, and I would do it over and over again. When I would do it exactly perfect, he said, that's it, do it again. You see. And when we get, even in relationship, instead of cursing the relationship and the other people in the world, or these people in the politics, or the so-called running the world, well, they're all the puppets playing the game and doing what they need to do. And yet it's like, okay, if you're focused on that and completely absorbed in that, you're part of it. You're making it happen, because it feeds from you. It vampires your energy. It parasites, hangs on, and sucks out your life through your emotions. You're reacting, and the thinking, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, what's going to happen to me, I'm going to die on the street, and then you're feeling and emotionalizing that suffering, worry, pain. Breathe. You see, this is really important. Get back into yourself. Notice where you are. Get in the now. Touch it. Get right there. Breathe in, all that, and then I'll start appreciating. Start being grateful. And a grateful means you got wood in the grate, and it's keeping the house warm, and full of thanksgiving. Appreciation, even as a financial means increase. And as that consciousness increases, then obviously always in the outer, and your environment is always going to be supporting and reflecting the reality you agree with. And even if people all around me, there's a mama baby, there's a mama ducky, and there's a little baby teeny-weeny duckies. Hi! Oh, Mama, I'm so proud of you. And I have to tell you, this is good. When you observe the obvious, when you perceive the love, the mama ducky and the babies, you know that divine is pure love with all of us. And that which is not, that is cruel and heartless and, oh my gosh, to others in any way. And we've been caught up in it as we start letting go of all this killing stuff, because it's not us, and realize that we're now, the real is coming forth through you as you, by being who you really are, and being in nature, being in touch with yourself. And that secret of prosperity is to acknowledge you are prosperity, and acknowledge and appreciate what you know and where you are and what you've realized, and how everything has helped you attain where you are. Not that you needed that to attain who you are. Don't make that the belief in the cause of it, because it isn't. But you're also using it so that then what you call every failure becomes a stepping stone to what people call success. And what is success means you just reach your objective. That's all. And what is failure? I don't know that there is a failure, because if you wanted to reach that objective, and if it was in your highest good, you would. So if you didn't, then what you want to do is be open to that which is far better for you and greater for you than you ever realized before. So get into the acknowledging people, saying thank you, being grateful, being appreciative. And that's, I don't use the word bless you, because that's bless you, and I know a lot of people are attached to that, but I'm really conscious of what I'm saying. I'm not fully conscious of, being aware, that's my working on it. But I say be more you, because you don't need to be less you. And I'm not saying I'm being be less, because I'm not being be less. And I'm being who, the deal is to be centered in the self, to be tuning into nature, listening within yourself, and then tuning in to who you really are with the appreciation, you see, and the appreciation of others and your parents and whatever. Who I appreciate anybody and everybody, even had a problem or because I got to realize something. I got to learn something. I got to transcend that. That actually, even, you know, I always said that my first marriage and such, I didn't know what misery was until I got married. And, you know, here you get a couple of people don't know what's going on, and you're all trying to kind of figure out what's marriage. You kind of figure out for everybody else, you just torture each other. But it drove me to church, to the spiritual center, my church, and I started studying metaphysics. That's my way. That was my path. And then leading me one step, leading to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And then when you actually get there, you realize you've always known it. And you've always been there. So once you realize the truth and the divine, you must be in a state of great appreciation, because you're appreciating the divine and the love and what's beautiful and sweet and precious. Yeah.